In the last tutorial, I demonstrated the problem of mushy attacks and explained why they occur. Now, one potential solution comes in the form of articulation switching, where we get the faster notes of the passage to play samples that speak more quickly, thus eliminating the mush. And even though I've mentioned articulation switching a few times in the course already, I want to offer a bit more information on how it works. So first, here's a crash course in what articulation switching is all about. In sample speak, the term articulation refers to the different ways that musicians were asked to play or perform the notes when they were sampled. Articulation types include sustained notes and notes played staccato or accented or portato. You say potato, I say portato, as well as gestures like crescendos and diminuendos, trills, runs, and so on. Now, some articulations are specific to a particular instrument family, such as flutter tongue effects on winds and brass, and then there are a ton of articulation types specific to or closely associated with strings, such as tremolo, pizzicato, spiccato, sul ponticello, sul tasto, flautando, and on and on and on. Most libraries come with at least one setting or patch for each instrument sound, which preloads a variety of articulations, and then you select which one you want to hear at any given time. The most common method for selecting articulations is key switching, where you choose an articulation by playing designated keys located outside the normal playing range of the instrument. Here's an east-west solo flute instrument switching between a variety of different articulations, all from the one plugin. As you can see, the key switch notes are positioned just before each of the actual musical notes, so that the plugin gets told in advance which articulation the upcoming note is supposed to trigger. I performed this live, including the key switch notes, and I did this by first practicing the moves on the key switches and then recording the part, key switches and all. But of course, you can always enter key switch notes into your MIDI editor after you record a part, and by changing the notes of the key switches themselves, you can change the articulation that any given note plays after the fact. Some plugins are configured to switch articulations in response to program changes, and others are set up so that specific positions of the mod wheel select which sample you're going to hear. And then there's another method of articulation switching which I call mosaicing, and that's something we'll get into in a little while. But in a nutshell, that's how articulation switching works. And just a little side note, since key switching is the most common form of articulation switching, in the upcoming tutorials I'll often refer to articulation switching simply as key switching. Now let's return to those mushy attacks and see if we can't clean up that mush by switching some articulations.